What's happening, fam? LAR movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon Kindle and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below. As usual, go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I put it up. Thanks everybody for supporting. Yes, I'm sleepy. Okay, this video is entitled You Don't Have a Monopoly on Life Experiences. Listen. I'm going to just get this out of the way. There's a lot of people who create content. They live their lives. If y'all have similar experiences and y'all talk about similar things, that's what that is. Your life and your life experiences does not trump somebody else's. You know what I'm saying? And people who watch this video, because I'm not trying to stir the pot, but I just got to say that. You know, if you have a dating life, and some things that happen in your dating life happens in another person's dating life, and y'all talking about a similar thing, that's because that happens in the dating life. You know, if you're pursuing a dream, a passion, an aspiration, and there are some adversities that go along the way, guess what? And somebody's doing the same thing, guess what? Y'all might have similar experiences and talking points. You don't have a monopoly on that. You know, sometimes people can have a similar thought process. They could think about things in a similar manner. That's because, you and another person that you know or don't know, came to the same conclusion about something. You might not come to that same conclusion about everything, but you can come to the same conclusion about something. Y'all can be like, kindred spirits at a time. So you don't have a monopoly on life experiences. The other thing, like, sometimes people share tricks of the trade. Like, I remember, what was that? I think I was watching a video of Chris Carter, and he was showing this kid how you stretch your thumb out over the years, by stretching it just like a hand. So when you stretch your thumb out, his thumb actually goes like all the way down here, so it widens his catch radius. You get what I'm saying? So, because if you catch a football, you notice you got to catch like this. And as you can see, one of my hands is actually bigger than the other, but it's the same premise. You do this, and it helps you catch. You stretch your fingers out. Well, he shared that with the kid started doing it. So that's a trick of the trade that some people use, some people didn't. But it happens. Like fighters used to use like chew tree bark to get their jaws stronger so you can take a punch. You know what I'm saying? Just like people used to punch like stone and trees and metal to harden your knuckles, so you can actually punch harder. It's a trick of the trade. So if somebody shares a trick of the trade, guess what? They got that from somewhere. They didn't own it. Like it's been passed down. So nobody had a monopoly on that trick of the trade. So if you come across somebody that does something like that, be like, oh man, you took that from me. Did they really? And sometimes when we create content, that's part of the problem. That sometimes people are being quote unquote original, and some people feel like people are being unoriginal, and sometimes people feel like you're going too far. How can I say that? That's what I would say. You're going too far, or you might get redundant or repetitive, and sometimes that's cool, and sometimes it's not. You know what I'm saying? But nobody's gonna tell you what your experiences in life are, and how you should talk about them. So at the same time, this is part of the problem. And when you get into this point where you think people are biting off of you and they're not, That's when things go left. You know, I remember, like, everybody calls the Philly shell the Mayweather style. It's still the Philly shell. He just took it up a notch. He was harder to hit with it. But it's still the Philly shell. You get what I'm saying? A lot of Michigan fighters used it. James Toney used it. You know, he's from Michigan, you know. But people forget that. And the only reason I'm talking about this is because sometimes you invalidate another person's experiences, ideologies, life lessons, you know, their upbringing, because you feel like, you know, this happened and I talked about it, so it's over with and done with. That's not true. You know, you don't have the exact same perspective as somebody else, so you don't have a monopoly on that. They may be from a different region where things just a little bit different than yours. They may be in a different age bracket, so things are just a little bit different than what you deal with. You know, they may be in a different financial status, so it might be a little bit different what you're dealing with. You know, they may be at a different mental space than you, so it still might be a little bit different from what you're doing. And when we get to this point where nobody can express themselves because people think, you know, you copyrighted an idea, or you feel like you trademarked an idea, you trademarked your life experience and said anybody else going through life can't talk about that, that becomes problematic. You know, I really don't see the necessity there. And sometimes I get it. Some people do get bit off though, and I get that. Some people, you know, you wind up like, man, they take, you know, I just did this and they did this. But if it's something repetitive, yeah. But if it's something that happened once, twice, maybe thrice, and you looking around and you're like, well, this person, like, they've done 100 things, and you know, a few of them we kind of similar. So you gonna discard like the other 90 some odd things? I mean, that's a little bit narcissistic. Just a little bit. Like, you know, oh, look at that. They took that from me. Come on now. So what about the other stuff that they didn't take from you? Is that did you approve those messages? Are you gonna go out and say, okay, they didn't take all this other stuff from me? You know, they didn't take none of this stuff from me. That's theirs, but you know what I'm saying? These are mine, but that's theirs. Like, come on. Like, you know, and you just gotta watch that. I mean, I think it's unnecessary. It's immature. To be perfectly honest, it's immature. Because, you know, you're gonna live just like everybody else. And they're gonna have things that happen to them just like you have things happen to you. You know, it is what it is. You sharing information, so what's the problem if somebody's sharing information that's similar to yours? It's not a big deal. But I'm done on this one. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.